Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Flicka. I just wanted to make this video because I know a lot of you guys probably know that I really hate Windows.
Bill Gates can suck my fat nuts, okay? I'm just gonna say it straight up. He can suck 'em.
I hate a lot of the issues with it and all this other stuff. And I was ranting on the stream the other day, and someone said, "Why don't you go and use Linux?" So I decided, you know what? I am gonna go use Linux. I think I should put my money where my mouth is. I've been curious about Linux a long time. I've kind of wanted to learn how it works, learn more about the system. So I figured I'd switch over it. There's a few reasons why. First, it provides a lot more customization than Windows. There's different desktop environments. You have full control over everything that's in it since it's open source. If you want, you can just go in and edit the code line by line. It's that open. It's also far less bloated than Windows. Like in Windows, you've got like a ton of programs that you just don't use, right? Like all the pre-installed ones, and you can't actually go in and easily get rid of them. Oh, there is like scripts you can run to get rid of them, but then they just get added back in with every update, and it's a big pain. So I figured it'd be nice to be free from bloat as well. That way you get a faster running system. Everything's just more efficient. Linux is also a lot more secure than Windows. For example, no one like runs an antivirus on Linux. It's just not done because there's no need for it. Most viruses, since Linux makes up a small percent, aren't developed for Linux. Also, Linux, the way it structures its permissions is a lot more secure than Windows as well. So, a lot of you people that actually know about Linux that are watching are probably wondering what distro I'm choosing. Now, if you don't know a lot about Linux, it's not like Windows where there's just one operating system, so to speak, and that's it. Instead, it's a bunch of different systems based off the one core Linux kernel. Um, So the distro I'm choosing is called Pop! OS, and the reason I'm choosing it is because it's based off Ubuntu, which is based off Debian. Now Debian is also it's very stable. Also, I've had experience with Debian slash Ubuntu Linux in the past. I've messed around with it in virtual machines a lot. So I know my way around it a little bit. I'm still a novice, definitely, but it'll be something more familiar to me. Also, Pop! OS comes with Nvidia drivers installed, right out of the box. So there's no need to go and mess around with them. Uh, Linux is not as NVIDIA friendly as Windows sometimes. It still works fine with NVIDIA. It's just it can be trickier to get the drivers running. So the fact that Pop! OS comes with these out of the box is a huge plus for me. One thing you guys are probably asking is, what about gaming? Isn't Linux supposedly not compatible with a lot of games? And while that is true, 70% actually, or more, of all the top games on Steam are actually running natively on Linux. So it's not as bad as we would think, the native support. In fact, I went through my Steam library, and pretty much all the games in there natively supported Linux right out of the box. No tweaking necessary. Now, of the games that don't support it, they can be run with compatibility layers or other tools such as Wine or Proton. I went looking on the Proton database, and almost all of my games, except for maybe one, actually had a really good rating on there for running under Proton. Another thing is, people are probably saying, why don't you just dual boot if you're new? That way you can go back and use Windows as you need to. I don't really want to do that because it's a pain in the ass to switch between one operating system and another just to use a specific program. You have to go restart the whole computer, boot into the other drive. It's annoying as heck. I've done it before, and it's definitely not something I want to do again. It's just not. It's not very seamless, I guess is the way to put it. Also, if I can easily just go back to Windows whenever I have a problem, like one of the problems a lot of new people use when they go to Linux, I'm sure there are problems like that. I'll just go back to Windows and I won't actually take the time to work through it. So just going, I guess, balls deep and just going with Linux 100% right off the get-go is gonna, I guess, force me to cope with some of these issues and help me learn to get them resolved, basically. Um, and another thing you all are probably wondering about is what's going to happen to the Activate Windows watermark in my videos if I'm going to Linux. Don't worry, I got you guys covered. I'm going to be editing that into OBS. You guys honestly thought that I was going to be getting rid of that. Like, I'm not going to let switching to Linux stop me from being part of the unactivated Windows gang. Just not going to happen. Once I've gotten set up with Linux and I've used it for a while, maybe a week or two to a month, I'll make another video talking about how the experience has been. if any issues have come up and how I got past them, and just generally share the experience, see what it's like to actually make the switch. So thanks for watching, and keep a lookout for the next video.